Hey everybody, it's me, Chris Rogan, and welcome to another episode of Glasses Off! Or at least I think that's what this is. I'm not really sure, to be honest. Channel's a bit of a mess right now, but fortunately, so is the very fabric of our society, so I don't feel all that guilty about it. I gotta say though, I'm really disappointed in you. And when I say you, I mean, yes, you, specifically you. You. The person watching, the person listening to this, you specifically. I understand that it's a blazingly hot summer season, but the fact that you thought that it was okay for you to click on this video looking the way you do, sickly, sweaty, sticky, disgusting, well, that tells me that not only do you not respect me, but you don't respect yourself. Fortunately for you, this video is sponsored by Native. I've been using their all-natural deodorant for a while now, and I gotta tell you, it's been a real savior for me in this unyielding California heat. Guys, they're aluminum-free, they're paraben, they're sulfate-free, and they're made with natural ingredients such as coconut oil and shea butter. Guys, they're vegan, they're cruelty-free, and they've got a nice dry texture that dries real quick and real smooth-like. So you don't have to feel gross and sticky like that sickly ice cream creature who eats his own head in those nightmare-inducing commercials. You remember those? I hate that thing. Gross. They're great for a full day even after exercise. And don't take my word for it, they have over 10,000 5-star reviews. Or you should take my word for it, because I'm right all the time. Now, personally, I decided to get the unscented, the cucumber and mint, and the citrus and herbal musk. These are my favorite flavors. I don't know if it's flavors still, if you're not supposed to eat the thing, but I'm just gonna say flavors because it feels right. I like this one in particular. It really feels like you just sort of fell into a smoothie maker and got blended up with the ingredients and died and went to heaven, and your soul still smells like the smoothie. That's how you sell things, Chris. You're a natural. Almost as natural as these ingredients, huh? Now, normally 3 deodorants are $36, but if you click on my link and use code CHRISRAY, you'll get them for $24. That's 33% off. 33? That's two of the same number. That's basically 99, you know? So come on, guys. Do yourself a favor and do me a favor, would you? Check out the link in the description below to check out Native today. And when you're ready to order, remember, use my code CHRISRAY to save 33% off. You'll be supporting my channel and staying fresh at the same time, and you can't beat that. Anyway, now that your Lord has made his daily bread, on with today's whatever this is, huh? So, Joseph Rogan, I think Joseph is his name, made a bit of a splash recently because he went on his podcast and said video games were a waste of time. And that kind of broke the internet for a hot minute. Joe Rogan's obviously a pretty huge deal at this point. He's probably the biggest and most famous name in podcasting. So when he has something to say about anything, chances are people are going to be talking about it en masse. I mean, literally as I'm filming this, he's trending for simply existing next to Post Malone. So when he says something about video games and it's derogatory, it's not surprising to me that people get defensive about it. But I really wanted to make this video because I found his opinion to be just mind-numbingly stupid, because I personally, I can't think of a single thing that isn't a waste of time. But to really dive into this whole fiasco, I feel like it's best to watch the clip in its full context and just kind of respond to it as we go. We don't normally do that with Glasses Off videos, but I feel like it's the most natural way to talk about this, so let's go.
There were a ton of kids along the way growing up as I was building my business that would say, oh, I'm not into this, I'm not into that. Kind of like you described yourself. Yeah. And they don't do anything because they're looking for that thing. And I would argue, do something. Do fucking something until you find that thing.
Yeah, I've never been that kid, though. I've always been into things. I always was into art, or I was into something. I always found things that I was interested in, just none of them seemed like they were normal things that other people wanted to do for a living. Like the path, like a career path.
Okay, weird. That's a weird way to start this off. I find that kind of interesting because, to me, that kind of sounds like Joe Rogan acknowledging that the people around him when he was a kid thought his interests were a waste of time. I was about 13 years old in 2007 when I started making YouTube videos and taking it seriously as a hobby, and I remember a lot of people in my family thinking that I was weird for doing it. I remember hearing some snide remarks about how, like, weird it was that I was this interested in making videos for a fucking, for just some random site on the internet. And by the way, if you are that family member and you're watching this video right now, don't worry, I'm not mad, quite frankly, I don't remember which one of you it was at this point. And it's not a strange opinion to have either. I mean, you gotta remember at the time that the YouTube Partner Program wasn't even really a thing. People couldn't make money off of YouTube willy-nilly. The site really wasn't a mainstream success yet, and even the people who did find immense success on the platform at the time didn't find anywhere near the egregious amount of success that people like, I don't know, Jeffree Star or James Charles find in modern-day YouTube. I didn't see a single cent from any of my YouTube videos until 2013, 6 years after I started, and while I was like going to school and, you know, fucking working a minimum wage job. So from their perspective, what I was doing when I was spending all this time on YouTube was, you know, it was a dead end, a weird hobby, and a waste of my valuable time. My parents, on the other hand, were actually really supportive of the hobby. They actually, like, encouraged me to do more, but at the same time, they were also adamant that I was, that I went to college or that I joined clubs and did extracurriculars and all this stuff that, like, I just didn't really want to do. But even though I didn't want to do them, well, they were the most conventional means of success at the time. So you know what? I did it. I went to college for 2 years. I did the thing that everybody said was the most wise use of my time. I have been out of college for 7 years now. And I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, college was the biggest waste of time that I have ever experienced. Now, I'm not telling you not to go to college. I'm just saying, in my experience, for me personally, with my specific set of interests and my specific set of goals, it was a complete waste of fucking time. And I think the point that I'm trying to establish here, and I might be doing it pretty unsuccessfully, is that what is and isn't considered a waste of time is heavily subjective and heavily dependent on you as a person, even when it comes to things that are conventionally considered wise, like going to college. But this whole waste of time mentality is even weirder when you consider the fact that, you know, video games like film going or listening to music or getting high or getting drunk or hanging out is a leisure activity. They're almost intentionally designed to be enjoyable ways to waste time. So it's just weird that he singles video games out specifically, but I think I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. Let's move on.
But I think that there's a lot of people that don't have any, there's no one, they're not modeling their life after someone that they see that they admire. Someone that's successful, someone that is doing something that they enjoy and love. Sometimes kids have to see that. Right. And if their parents are living a bullshit life and their neighbors are living a bullshit life and most of their family lives a bullshit life, they just fucking lay around, you know, and then they seek refuge in drugs or video games or something that stimulates them. And video games are a real problem. They're a real problem. You know why? Because they're fucking fun.
Addictive.
And you don't, yeah, well, I have a real problem with them.
Oh, well, that's pretty good news, huh? That's great news. He's apparently deeply afflicted by this time-wasting ailment.
Well, I have a real problem with them.
And yet here he is, hosting the most popular podcast on the face of the earth, probably, and signing $100 million exclusive deals with Spotify. I don't know, guys. Seems like a pretty good addiction in the grand scheme of things, especially when you consider your, I don't know, your crack-addicted Uncle Chucho, who's like chasing pixies right now in a Ruby Tuesdays parking lot. Also, having fun isn't a bad thing. Feels weird to have to clarify that, but let's move on.
And you do them, and they're real exciting, but you don't get anywhere.
Right.
It's like you could do like martial arts, right? You could learn jujitsu. You get obsessed by jujitsu, and then 3 years later, you're like an elite jujitsu athlete. You're entering in competitions. You're a purple belt.
An elite jujitsu athlete, dude. According to my very accurate math, there are 40,000 jujitsu black belts on Earth. So doing a little math here, let's see, carry the 7 billion, divide by the square root of pure depression, and you have about a 0.0005% chance of becoming a jujitsu athlete. Mathematically speaking, training to be an elite jujitsu athlete is a waste of your fucking time. I see a lot of people cobbling this weird defense of Joe Rogan's opinion here, where a lot of people are like, oh no, Chris, he's not talking about video games specifically, he's just talking about lazy, unmotivated people who don't have any goals or aspirations, who would rather just sit on their ass and play, I don't know, Fable all day. And it's like, okay, well, you take the video games out of the equation, and you still have somebody who is unmotivated, uninspired, and not doing anything with their life regardless. You've not improved their situation just by getting rid of their escapism. If anything, all you've done is make their suffering that much more unyielding. Not to mention there are far more harmful alternatives that they'll probably just saunter on over to in the absence of a nice, heart-pounding round of Quake 3 Arena. This is obviously common sense, but like, anything in excess is bad for you. If you're getting high 18 hours a day, 7 days a week, that's fucking bad for you. If you're doing nothing but sitting and binge-watching Netflix for 18 hours a day, 7 days a week, that's a horrible waste of time. But the most ironic thing about video games in the context of this particular discussion is that out of all of the big leisure time-wasting activities, watching TV, binge-watching, movie-going, getting high, getting drunk, listening to music, playing video games is arguably the most productive one, because you can uniquely monetize your time with video games in ways that you really can't attempt in other mediums. You can stream your gameplay, you can commentate your gameplay on monetizable platforms, you can go pro, you can dig into the files and make insanely popular mods that could land you jobs at game development studios. There are even some games that let you make your own game and sell them. Did I mention I'm in a video game? Twin Breaker, A Sacred Symbols Adventure, now on PlayStation 4 and PS Vita. I'm not kidding, go look it up, it's there, it's real, play it, it's real, I'm serious. That's right, guys, I'm on PlayStation, and I just wanted to brag a little bit. Now, is it particularly likely that you'll succeed at any of these things? Are you going to go pro? Are you going to become a professional streamer? Are you going to become a commentator? Maybe not. But it's no more unlikely than becoming a fucking jiu-jitsu elite.
You're moving up.
Yeah, you're doing well. Right. You're thinking, like, I might be able to open my own school one day.
You got confidence.
Yeah, if I have 100 students and those 100 students are paying me X amount of dollars per month, I can make a living. Holy shit, I can have this would be amazing. And then you see your jiu-jitsu school, and your jiu-jitsu instructor has all these students and drives a Mercedes, and he's got a nice family, and like, that's the future. This way, you're doing something exciting and fun, and you don't... Or you could just be playing fucking video games. 3 years later, you could be that same kid just playing video games, waiting for the next whatever the fuck game is, you know, next Xbox game to come out, and you're gonna waste your time.
Now, he frames the conversation in a really weird way here, because he's clearly trying to compare two situations with two completely different types of people. It's like, oh hey, here's a very driven person that's interested in the thing that I'm interested in, and here's a very lazy, deadbeat piece of shit person who's interested in the things that you're interested in. It's like a really, like, shallow argument tactic, and it's really easy to switch back on Joe Rogan. You're a big fan of Doom, you play it every day, you know the ins and outs, you have great respect for the design that goes into it, you see the pedigree of the studio that created it, and you dream of someday, working at that studio and making your mark and making experiences like the ones that they made for you for other people someday. You work really hard and get into the special effects industry where you work alongside Guillermo del Toro on Pacific Rim, and you finally nail that job at id Software and become the new face of the studio and usher in a shockingly successful renaissance for a franchise with a deeply respected legacy. And you're paid well, you're respected, you're admired, and you set an example for people who are interested in this field and to people who love the experience that you've crafted. Or you could be a sad loser who watches people punch each other every day over and over again like some barely evolved fucking simian. Look guys, I know what Joe Rogan is trying to say. I understand his argument. Video games are a lot of fun. I don't want to be making this video. I would rather be playing Destroy All Humans or Ghost of Tsushima right now, but I'm not. And I know that some people are addicted to video games, and I know that it gets in the way of some people's success when they can't find the time to pry themselves away from something that they rely really heavily on for a quick rush of dopamine. But that's literally true of anything in cartoonish excess. Drugs, alcohol, television, movies. We're having this conversation about video games and not social media? Are you serious? What, is this like a sugar scenario? We're not talking about the actual great evil because we're all unanimously addicted to it? Is that what's happening here? Dude, social media is infinitely more destructive and infinitely more addictive than a video game could ever hope to be. But unlike video games, it has the added bonus of following us everywhere that we go, every hour of every day, slowly turning us into sociopaths who reduce other human beings to profile pictures and follower counts, while slowly making us dependent on their algorithm to keep in touch with our friends and family. Oh, but hey, it's fine because guys, we need to stay connected, we need to know what's going on, but we don't need to have fun. Jesus, just actually literally just talking about it like that stressed me the fuck out. So I think I'm done for today. We're good. Just to be clear though, I'm not angry at Joe Rogan. I don't think he's like a huge piece of shit or anything just because he has an opinion that I find kind of stupid. He follows me on Twitter, and I appreciate that, even though I'm pretty sure he did it by accident. I just thought his argument was just a bit manipulative and really awkward, and I guess I just thought I just wanted to criticize him a bit, because quite honestly, I just don't think he has any amount of respect for video games as an art form or as an industry. He really doesn't respect him. And that might sound like a grand statement, but based on his interview with Hugo Martin, who is like the creative director of Doom Eternal, back before Doom Eternal came out, that interview was just so condescending that there's no doubt in my mind that Joe Rogan just has no respect for the industry and no respect for the craft of making video games. So I guess I just kind of felt, I don't know, protective, I guess? I don't know. I don't normally ask you guys to comment, but I'm actually genuinely curious as to how you guys are going to react to this, because I don't know if I'm way off base. I don't know if maybe Joe Rogan is more right than I am. I don't know if maybe you guys agree with Joe Rogan more than you agree with me. I'm genuinely curious to see what people think, so leave a comment in the description. Not in the description. Am I stupid? Am I fucking dumb? In the comment section. And I'll be in there. I'll be talking with you guys. I'm really curious. Leave a like if you like, subscribe if you like. I don't really care, the subscriber button is fucking broken anyway. It is currently 4:30 a.m., so if I seem a little bit out of it, apologies. Don't forget that there's merch in the description, there's a Patreon in the description, and yeah, give those a peek. So, until next time, I'm gonna get some rest. I don't know how to end a video.
I'm pretty sure it's like a racial, it's like a gym, like a Jimmy.
Like a sprinkle?
No, like, you said a Jimmy's a sprinkle?
Don't people call them Jimmies?
A sprinkle?
Yeah.
Nigga, what year are you from?
I've heard it in like Kids Next Door and stuff.
What year are you from?
1993.
What country you fucking, oh man.
I'm not saying I call them Jimmies. Okay, I'm saying people call them Jimmies.
Yo, I want to call you something, but I'm trying to dance around it.
I'm not saying that I call them Jimmies. People call them Jimmies.
You just called it a Jimmy.
Because that's a word that people use for sprinkles.
So therefore, you are one of those people. So you just called it a fucking Jimmy, you dumb.
I'm just aware.
Admit!
I got another one.
Is that another bag of jerky?
It's another bag, sealed bag of jerky.
Unmarked.
Dishes.
Unmarked bags of jerky. You gotta trust that that's jerky. Like, dry chicken sucks.
I've had dry chicken. It's like choking down sandpaper.
Exactly, bro. It's like fucking, it's like sucking way too big of a dick.
I wouldn't know what that's like.